Now, tributes continue to pour in for the departed former Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, a man who has been described as an education icon. I want us now to link up with our reporter, Shadrach Miti, who is following up on that developing story. Shadrach, good afternoon. What's the latest? What is the preparation like at the moment?
Well, Fatia, at the moment, you know, the family of the late Professor George Magoha is expected to address the media just to give us a brief of how everything about the plans of his interment is concerned. I know a while ago we had our colleagues traveling to his homestead in Lavington, and we are expecting that his wife, his son, and other close relatives, or through the spokesperson, may want to give us more information. Remember yesterday when this news broke, although we had a communication through a family friend, we are also expecting that perhaps today we may have the voices of the close family members, especially the wife, the son, and perhaps the daughter-in-law. Remember, Magoha did not have a huge family. He just had one son, one wife, and one daughter-in-law. And so we are expecting that any moment from now, or before the end of today, we are going to hear more from the family who are going to give us more information and just arrangements around burial. But even as that one continues, we know that tributes and voices from key stakeholders continue pouring in, with many expressing their shock, others celebrating Magoha for the achievement he had, and others talking of the loss the country has had through the death, what you may call the untimely death of Professor George Magoha, who has been celebrated as a giant academia, who in his heydays as a university don, he did not just serve as the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, but he was an accomplished professor of medicine and surgery at the same university. And but what is so much remembered for is when he served as the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi for 10 years, that is between 2005 and 2015, where he's remembered for streamlining so many other issues at the university. Remember when he took up the mantle at that particular time, there had been reports of mismanagement of resources at the university, high cases of indiscipline among learners, and too many cases of absentee workers again, or staff members at the university. But we are told that when Magoha came in and took over the reins, he ensured that everything came back to order. He addressed so many issues that were affecting the university, and by the time he was leaving, and that's something that he kept on talking about. Whenever he was faced with any challenge, he would always refer people to the much he did while he served as the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, trying just to show how successful he was. And so in his own words and through other people's observations, the performance he had at the University of Nairobi will forever stand as an icon or as a monument of his success among other issues. Then came again when he moved from the University of Nairobi and went to at the Kenya National Examination Council, where he also served for 3 years as the chairperson of the Kenya National Examination Council. Remember, at that particular time when Magoha took over as the chairperson of the Kenya National Examination Council, Kenya's education system was coming under great scrutiny following what widespread exam theft and malpractices that was threatening the integrity of the academic certificates that were being generated by Kenyan education system. And so it was upon that Magoha, when he was appointed, he was given specific and instructions to streamline and to weed out the cartels that were rampant at that particular time, and the exam theft and other malpractices. And so within 3 years, as he has always said, and even as other leaders have continued to attribute to him, he says by the time he was leaving, he had registered so much success, and the same continued even as he served as the Cabinet Secretary for Education for another 3 years, where again he continued with other reforms, including the midwifing of the competency-based curriculum, where again in the issue way of humanity, again, he had some issues with other people, but others celebrated him for stabilizing the boat that was almost going astray. And remember again, the CS, while at the helm of his service as the Cabinet Secretary for Education, he will be remembered for navigating the education sector through a challenging moment of the COVID-19 outbreak that saw schools closed to nearly 1 year, and a situation that almost threatened millions of learners. But through his leadership again, he ensured that learning resumed, and as he died yesterday, we had just resumed the normal calendar, the normal academic calendar in the country, and all these are some of the things that have informed. Many people have continued to celebrate him, ranging from the president, deputy president, other political leaders, and other key figures within the academia who say Magoha was not just a doctor, but he was also a leader who knew how to execute his roles whenever he was called upon to do. Back to you.
Right, Shadrach, thank you so much for that, of course, telling us about the former education